Hello, it is, whoa, my, it's got very big there, didn't it? It is Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. It's currently around 6:30 in the morning. I'm up fairly early because I think I am a little anxious about my appointment today at the hospital. So I'm going, it's an oncology appointment, so it's with the cancer folks at Princess Margaret Hospital. First, this earlier in the morning, and probably, well, not probably, in 2 hours time I need to be at the hospital to get my blood drawn, which is going to measure my bilirubin number, and also I'm sure other measurements that will help determine whether or not I start chemo on Friday. So there is some nervousness around that for me today. I think initially fell asleep okay, but then I got up, kind of like woke up in the middle of the night and was able to get back to sleep, but a little bit of not a fully rested kind of sleep last night, but at least I got some sleep in. And I think, so I've been talking about how nervous I am about chemo and what it's going to mean. And they did give me some information the last time I was there, but I actually wasn't thinking too much about chemo for a while. I think until probably the last few days, since I started talking on camera about it, is when I started really thinking about like what the experience of chemo is going to potentially be like. So they had some information that they had provided me, and I hadn't looked at it until last night. And to some degree, I'm glad that I looked at it last night. I am glad because now I have some specific questions in regards to potential ways of preventing some of the side effects that they have listed in the in this material that they gave me. So several things. I think the first thing is that I think I mentioned that there's going to be a vial or a bottle or I think what it is really is that it's called a pump. It's called an infusion pump, and it's not like just going to be connected like right here to me, because I don't know why I had thought this, but my imagination or just the assumption that I had made is that there was going to be some kind of a bottle of some kind of varying length that was just going to be attached to this general area of my body, and then that's where it was going to be for like 72 hours or something like that. Turns out that it's a bottle that has a tube, so it's connected. So I have something called a portacath that has been put in here, and it's under my skin at the moment, but it's connected to a large vein, and what they do is they would connect the end of that tube. Well, firstly, when I go for blood this morning, they're going to use the portacath in order to draw blood from here, and it also acts as a way to deliver the chemotherapy medicine to me through this portacath. So the understanding with that particular part of the chemotherapy is that it's in a infusion tube. I think it's called infusion pump. And I guess this is what it looks like. It looks like a baby's bottle, or I don't know what the actual size of that is going to be. But I read through that, and it turns out like at the top of that there was some tubing, and so the tube gives it a little bit of flexibility. It's not just connected like right up to my neck. If I wanted to be walking around, I could have like a slingy or some kind of a bag that it fits into, that it can carry it for me. I actually had like a pretty decent bag that could have done its job, but I donated it because I'm trying to get rid of a bunch of stuff. But anyway, so that's something that I learned. The thing that I would like to talk to the oncology people about is that, firstly, I was under the assumption that this thing was supposed to be connected to me for like 3 days. And it turns out that the pump itself only needs to be connected for 46 hours, so roughly 2 days. So, just kind of doing some very simple math. And I was thinking, if this pump is connected to me on Friday at 3 o'clock, technically, I would be able to have, if it's 46 hours, I would be able to have it removed by 1 o'clock on Sunday. But my nursing clinic appointment wouldn't be until Monday. So if this pump is connected to me on a Friday afternoon, say 3 o'clock, it could technically get removed by 1 o'clock on Sunday. But because the nursing clinic, the folks that would remove it, they're not open on the weekends, the only choice that I would have is to have it for an extra 24 hours connected to me, and then to go the next day to get it disconnected. So my question would be, would it be possible for me to do my chemo on Saturday so that I don't have this extra 24 hours of this bottle that's connected to me? Because my understanding is that they also do chemo on Saturdays as well. So that's a question that I have for them. I don't know if it's an unreasonable question to have. This is my first time being a professional patient in this way, but that's the big question that I have, because I could see that, to be connected to a bottle for an extra 24 hours without any need to have myself connected to it. And it's also a bottle that contains chemotherapy, which is I don't think like a safe material just to be hanging around with. So I think there's also maybe some safety stuff in relation to that. So that's a question that I have. Either that, or is there a nursing clinic that I can go to on a Sunday to get it removed? Because so far what I've been told is it's Monday to Friday. So that's question number one. I guess the other questions is like based on sort of the side effects that have been documented in this material that I was given. I'd love to know if there are ways that I can get in front of it, so preemptively try to think about prevention, about some of these side effects, namely nausea, vomiting, and the mouth sores. Maybe the energy part. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like, okay, well, so I'll back up for a second. With nausea and the vomiting, it sounds like there's medications that can help to counteract that. So that sounds more preventative. And there was something in the literature that said something like, it's easier to prevent it than to treat it once it's happening. So I'm all about that. I'm just going to be like, tell me, what I need to do or what I need to take in order to prevent that nausea and vomiting, if at all possible. So let's go with that. I think similarly with mouth sores, it sounds like there are ways to maybe take care of the oral hygiene in order to prevent mouth sores from happening. And then I think that there's some kind of a mouth rinse that can help if it does materialize, but maybe there's also something else that can help also prevent them. I don't know. So that's a question that I have. Thirdly, the thing about the energy, and this is maybe where my rational thought is intruding on another way of thinking about it, but the idea of chemotherapy is that it kills cells. It is expressly designed to kill all cells, healthy, unhealthy, cancerous, whatever. It's like full on wipeout, and we'll see what happens, and we'll see what kind of an impact that has on your system. So if if the basic idea, the nuanced idea is that by targeting all cells, or like just, I'm sure there's more nuance to it than that, but the idea is that we're going to kill the cells, and hopefully most of them will be cancer cells. But it's also going to impact healthy cells, which is known. It's not. It's part of what happens. My assumption around that is that I'm going to be tired. The body is going to be tired. How can it not be when there's a foreign external thing that's being brought into the body that is trying to kill cells? So I don't know how you could be preventative when it comes to preserving energy. I'm sure, what I eat and how I take care of myself, and like maybe, drinking enough liquids and all those kinds of things is going to help toward that. But I think if I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be tired. And it also would make sense that I would be tired. I don't know that there would be any way of sort of sidestepping that tiredness, but you know what? I have no idea. So I will ask that question as well. And I guess the fourth question that I have is whether or not there are things that I can do on my end to help with boosting immunity as much as possible. Because one of the things that I'm going to be immunosuppressed. So these healthy cells, all these cells are going to be under attack by the chemotherapy, which means that it is going to leave me vulnerable to infections and bacteria and germs and all that kind of stuff. So is there a way for me, apart from like washing my hands and trying to keep myself away from sick folks and other situations like that, is there a way for me to be strengthen my immune system, to help strengthen my immune system? Again, it might have to do with diet and maybe exercise and hydration and all that kind of stuff. But I guess those are my main questions. One of the things that I'm nervous about is we have cats, and I love my cats, but they are walking fur balls of germs, I would imagine. And I don't, get scratched up or anything like them often, but and my husband, especially since all this has started happening, he's taken over the all the crappy, like the litter box stuff and everything like that. So I started kind of worrying about that a little bit, even though like they are family and it's important for me that they're around. But I'm hoping that there isn't a point where they can't be around anymore, or they shouldn't be around anymore. That would be really, that would impact my quality of life, I guess, because to me, like they're our family. So maybe that there is a question too. I don't know. So that's where I'm at today. A lot happening this morning, so we'll have to get going in probably the next hour or so to the hospital where I'll get my blood drawn. Then I'll have to wait for the results, and then I have my appointment, and then they'll tell me yay or nay in terms of like starting treatment this week. I have my questions I want to be asking. Joe can't be with me today. We don't have a pass. COVID crap shit. Ugh. But I'll have a family friend on the phone with me who will be taking notes for me, and maybe to be there to ask questions if I might have missed something. And she's such a solid presence for me that it's just been with me now for every oncology appointment by phone, and it's been so incredibly helpful. So helpful. And because I mean, I can imagine right now that a lot of people are going through this experience, and it could be really lonely. It could be really scary and isolating because of COVID and not being able to bring a family member or trusted person with you. And even I think with chemo too, that I think, well, what if none of this was going on, that you're allowed to have a guest with you or someone to come with you to support you through this. And I don't think it's possible right now. That's I guess another question that I have. So yeah, that's where we're at. The rest of the day, we're gonna go and pick up a paper shredder in Mississauga afterward. We collect paper, or like paper accumulates, and this looks like a pretty heavy duty paper shredder that'll help get rid of some of those like old bills and all that kind of stuff that's just accumulates over time. And I don't know, like maybe while I'm kind of laid out based on the chemo and all that kind of stuff, the one thing that I'd be okay in doing is like feeding paper into a machine as it shreds. I don't know, maybe, but even if not, it's something that I think could be helpful for us anyway. So sourced out a paper shredder from Kijiji, and we'll be picking that up after the appointment. I think also just because it'll be nice to go for a drive, I think, after so much intensity, just to be out and about for a bit before coming back to our place and kind of grappling with like what the next steps are going to be. So that's the update for today. Did anything? Yeah, I mean, at any given time, I can burst into tears thinking about something or other. It's important to me that while I have the energy and while I have the ability to be able to do it, to sort of like edit the things that are around our place, because again, like things accumulate and you think you'll need them, or you'll think you'll want them, or you'll think this is important to you. And some of the stuff that, I've made choices to discard do feel important to me, but at the end of the day, there's stuff, and stuff can live on in memory. Stuff can, the one thing that stuff can do is remind you of those memories, I guess, which is happy and sad. It's bittersweet right now. So, trying to find a balance between what to keep for now, what to just let go of right now, and also, some of the harder questions between Joe and I have been, what are you gonna want to keep of mine, And I have like this idea where like maybe we should have like some kind of a container that's dedicated to just things of mine that he may wish to keep in this container, instead of just having like, oh no, like I'm definitely keeping that, or oh yeah, like that's something that's going to stay with me, because that can get it, I think, completely out of control, or just be something that's going to be so hard for him to manage later on. So that's I think I may have mentioned it. I think I'll probably have to mention a little bit stronger in the future about that. And so that process continues. One of the things that I'll be doing, and if you haven't checked it out already, the Patreon membership is sort of outlined in the description below. And if you do decide to contribute at a certain tier and up, you will be receiving a something from my collection. And I have quite a bit of a Peanuts collection, like a Snoopy Woodstock collection, and some stuffies and things like that from Japan that my mom has sent me over time. I will be sending contributors of like a certain tier out these things, and this way maybe it'll feel like you have a little piece of me, which is great, because I do very, very, very much appreciate your love and your care and your contribution. So I'm still in the process of putting that together, but by I think the time that this video is up, all those details will have been worked out, and they are in the description box below. And so that's where I'm at today. Yeah, so by the end of today, I will know, or even midday today, I will know whether or not I start chemo this week, and the question of whether it's possible for me to start chemo on Saturday rather than Friday might also be potentially addressed, but I will get back to you actually on that. So on that note, I send you love and care, tons and tons and tons of love and care, and chef's kisses. I think I got that right now. And please do send and think about love and care in your life today, even if it's just a moment, it's a hug, it's a look, it's a just love you, whatever, right? Like send that out to someone in your life or all the people in your life today. And if you have any left, please send them my way. So any of your love and care my way. And I will take all the love and care that I can get. And please think shrink. Please think shrink. Please, please, please think shrink, because that's what we're aiming for right now. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll talk to you real soon.